Alright, so, hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Beyond Spray and Pray 1000. I am your host, and today I'm going to talk about a lot of topics. Obviously, I think that the title of the video will give this away very, very quickly, so I don't really need to say too much about it. I specifically wanted to wait until things had kind of begun to die down before I actually fully delved into any amount of research or any amount of coverage on this, because I knew this was going to be a fast evolving situation, as this always is. It doesn't bring me joy to have to talk about stuff like this, but you know, on the flip side of it, I actually really find it insanely interesting, you know, how all these different companies for all these different years just sort of get away with doing some of the wackiest and zaniest stuff imaginable. I find it to be just completely incredible that they are able to do what they do for as long as they do. Now, if there's time, I will go back and I will talk about some of the other topics I had planned for this episode. However, you know, there's no time limit on this episode, but I you know, just based on how I feel, we'll go into it. Maybe this might just be a standalone, though I think that might better suit my purpose. So if you're not at all, I don't know how you would not know what I'm about to talk about if you play any amount of video games or if you're into video game culture at all. Today I'm going to talk about Activision Blizzard and their first original lawsuit that got the ball rolling over their frat boy culture and harassment at the workplace. So I can hold on, because this is actually the last topic on my podcast list, but it's the longest topic I think I've had to write out since like any of the E3 things. Hang on 2 seconds. We're gonna go through this article by article. You know, it's been about 2 weeks, give or take. So I like I said, I let the dust settle. I let the dust settle so that way I could come back to it and fully go through it, because I'm gonna go through pretty much every document that's out there. And I know a couple of people have asked me, mostly friends, but you know, people have asked what my opinion on all of this is as a Blizzard, you know, as a Blizzard consumer, right? Like, I played his Blizzard games. Pretty much everyone has, right? Unfortunately, we're not really almost talking about video games anymore. We're talking about a lot of real life shit, and you're probably not going to get too much of a different take out of me than what you would have gotten out of any of the bigger YouTubers or anyone else who covered it. But in any event, here we go. This is an archive, because I always like to archive these pages just in case they get, you know, changed or whatever. Yep. Okay, we're good. Activision Blizzard sued over frat boy culture and harassment. Video game giant Activision Blizzard, maker of games including World of Warcraft and Diablo, fosters a, quote, frat boy, unquote, culture in which female employees, are subjected to constant sexual harassment, unequal pay, and retaliation, according to a lawsuit filed by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. A 2-year investigation by the state agency found that the company discriminated against female employees in terms and conditions of employment, including compensation, assignment, promotion, and termination. Company leadership consistently failed to take steps to prevent discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. This is where like a lot of the shit show comes from, as we'll get to later on. Where's my cursor off screen? Okay, perfect. All right, let's just get right into the shittiness of it. According to the complaint filed Tuesday in the Los Angeles Superior Court, bear in mind this is from July 21st, 2021. So this is at this point a little bit old now. It's about 2, maybe 3 weeks old. Female employees make up around 20% of the Activision workforce and are subjected to, quote, a pervasive frat boy workplace culture, unquote, including, quote, cube crawls, unquote, in which male employees, quote, drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office and often engage in inappropriate behavior towards female employees, unquote. Now, just off of this, right, and I said this to my friends, and I this is going to come up 1,000 times, right? Like, this isn't something that they're alleging happened, like, I don't know, think of a year before, like, Me Too and all this stuff happened, right? Like 2012, 2010, right? Like, maybe even 2005. This is not something that just happened, like, maybe in a period of time back then and then disappeared over the years. This is something ongoing. So, in my mind, right, like, and I mean this sincerely, by the way. This is my opinion, but I mean this sincerely. How much of a stupid, dumb fuck do you have to be to, like, engage in just drinking on the job, right? And then engaging in inappropriate behavior towards women. I mean, this was never cool in any year, but especially in, like, recent modern years. Like, as a company, how could you not immediately get rid of the dudes that actually do this shit? You know, a lot of times people get accused of things that they weren't actually, you know, they didn't really mean anything by, or they're innocent, or maybe they just get flat out falsely accused of stuff. One thing that comes to mind is that dude who landed that probe on Mars in, like, 2014. That's how fucking long it's been. And they basically forced him to cry and apologize. You know, he wore some shirt that people got mad at, and it was actually a shirt given to him by a female friend, and he wore it in honor of her and stuff. And it was a whole fucked up situation. You know, dudes like that get pushed to the gallows all the time. How the fuck did these dudes get away with this for 20 to however many years? Apparently it's been going on for decades, which could be something like 11 plus years. How do they, you know, these dudes obviously are sober at some point, right? Like, you don't think this is maybe a bad idea ever? I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna have to close the window. It's a cool day. I kind of, oh god. The second I start recording, something immediately goes off. But seriously though, how could you possibly ever think that this is acceptable and a good idea? And I mean, ultimately it comes down to the fact that they probably just thought they were above repercussions. But you gotta look at the news, you know, you gotta see all these times dudes get put in the news and then all over the place, and they get slammed for it. And obviously, like, the big ones, right? Like Bill Cosby, who hilariously has been not exonerated, but he was released because of some bullshit that they did, charging him. You know, Harvey Weinstein, right? All the bullshit that happens, and these dudes just think that they're okay. I mean, Ubisoft is going through this exact same shit as well. And I know I don't want to pause too much here, but to me, it's like, okay, I get it. You like to drink, right? I like to drink too. Right? Okay, I get it. You like, you know, but when you're on the job, like, I don't know, maybe this is just like for normal people, but I don't know how much of a failure you have to be in so many levels of society to engage in shit like this. It makes no sense to me, right? It's not even like a pro-feminist thing. It's like, listen, people are here to do a job. You're there to do a job. Which I mean, you know, now I say, look, I understand why Blizzard games have sucked for a long time, right? You know, people always talk about how WoW has sucked for like 10 years. I mean, you know, if this has been going on even a fraction of that, I can totally see why WoW kind of sucks. They're not really doing anything. The agency alleges that male employees play video games during the workday while delegating responsibilities to female employees, engage in sexual banter, and joke openly about rape, among other things. Now, I'm the kind of guy, I feel like you could joke about anything, but there's a time and place for everything, and it's got to be good, right? You might disagree with me on that. That's fine. But I think everyone who listens can agree that you don't do it on the job, right? Like, when I had one of my jobs, and I was working, I tell this story all the time. I was working at a what's it called? A house. I was a maintenance worker. I don't know, like, I like to joke with the dudes, right? You know, they were way older than me, so it was impossible for me to really, like, you know, we had it was a culture difference, right? A lot of them were also from other countries and stuff. And I said, you know, at the end of it all, though, what I said to myself is like, look, we could have a little bit of fun, but, you know, I'm not getting too close to these dudes, right? Like, I don't know them that well, you know? Like, we're just here, we're all in the same shitty situation, you know, jokes will lighten the mood. And it wasn't anything obscene or anything like that. It was just, you know, stuff about funny things. I remember one time we were joking about, like, how shitty I think it was Burger King was, and I was, like, defending Burger King, and they were making fun of me, which was great. But, you know, just things like this probably go on the no-no radar for, like, most normal people, right? Like, I don't think that is, like, too much to say. Like, if you're on your own time and you make these jokes, like, yeah, you know, people might not like it or whatever, but you're not, like, on the clock. You're not representing somebody. And this is that's one of the biggest things I want to say is, like, you're not really representing anyone but yourself when you're out and about or just killing time or whatever on your own clock or doing things or whatever like that, right? Like, does this seem like anything that would facilitate better game development, faster game development, more efficient methods of doing what you're there to do in the first place? Obviously, everyone who has a brain will say no, right? Like, hitting on your female employees, your coworkers, engaging in sexual banter that I'm just gonna assume is unwanted. I don't think that would be a false assumption by any measure. And then joking openly about rape, which, again, you know, you gotta look at the year, right? Like, it's not exactly 2002 anymore. However you might feel about the state of humor, the state of humor is the state of humor, right? Like, what is this? Why am I reading this about Activision Blizzard? You know, like, why am I, I think it's mostly Blizzard, if I'm not mistaken, because they talk about Blizzard specifically, like Warcraft and Diablo. Why am I reading this about the dudes that produce T-rated games, you know? Like, why is this even a thing? Why is this happening? Let's continue. Female employees alleged being held back from promotions because of possibility they might become pregnant, being criticized for leaving to pick up their children from daycare, and being kicked out of lactation rooms so male colleagues could use the rooms for meetings. What the fuck? Okay. Female employees working for the World of Warcraft... Fucking WoW, man. WoW is just a disaster at this point. I don't think WoW can ever recover from something like this. It gets worse, by the way. If you think this is the bulk of it being bad, it gets worse. Even in this article, it gets worse. Okay. The suit also points to, female employees working for the World of Warcraft team noted that male employees and supervisors would hit on them, making derogatory comments about rape and otherwise engage in demeaning behavior, the agency alleges. That basically goes back to what I said up here. Like, I don't know in any scenario when on the clock this makes any amount of sense. Like, if you want to push people away from you at light speed, you know, in your personal life, I mean, you're allowed to do that, right? Like, you could do that if you really want. Fuck it, who cares? But if you think that you're gonna kind of get away with it, like, on the job, I mean, I don't know what to tell you at all. I don't know who needs to hear that. Clearly the team at Activision, and especially World of Warcraft of all fucking things. The only thing that really good came out of this is I think StarCraft was kind of immune to this. I didn't hear any names from StarCraft. I haven't seen StarCraft get name dropped. So hopefully the dudes at StarCraft are just smarter than this, but knowing my luck, probably not. Okay. The suit, oops, sorry, I keep scrolling it. My scrolling is a little bit weird, I'm sorry. The suit points to a female Activision employee who took her own life while on a company trip with her male supervisor. The employee had been subjected to intense sexual harassment prior to her death, including having nude photos passed around at a company holiday party, the complaint says. Now, this is the lowest point in the whole fucking shit show. By far. Like, we're not just talking about, like, a company is being bad, they're doing something terrible, they're breaking the law. Like, someone is dead because of the humiliation and embarrassment and harassment that she got on the job. You know, like, anywhere in her life this will be bad, but, you know, when this was a known thing and a known problem, like, this isn't like the isolated incident that just happens to be the worst case scenario. I would say that this is by far stemming from all of this, right? And, like, it sucks. Someone is dead because of the dumb shit that they engaged in, and presumably they continued to engage in after she had passed away. You know, like who, what grown over 18-year-old man or woman, whoever did this, but I'm assuming it's a man, did this, right? Like who passes around nude photos of a coworker, right? You really shouldn't even be dating coworkers. That's my personal opinion, but you know, if things happen, they happen. Why the fuck would you do this? Why the fuck would you do this? Like, who gains from this? It blows my fucking mind to smithereens. It's like, why would this ever, like, not even, you know, you're gonna get hit by the law, you're gonna get hit by the stick. Like, why would you do this to someone you're presumably in a good relationship with, you're having a sexual encounter with, even if it falls apart? Why would you do this to them? You know, people are just fucked up. They're just evil. You know, I know you could say I'm jaded, you could say I'm very bitter towards a lot of people and a lot of things, but I mean, like, reality is a very shitty thing. You know, as soon as you get out of that kid phase, reality sucks. And there's just a lot of people who are just evil. They're just playing evil. They will use you for what you're good for, and when you no longer serve a purpose, they'll toss you the fuck away. They don't care what happens to you. And you know, like, why would you do this? Ever. Someone's dead. It's a tragedy now. It's not just me laughing like with the BioWare shit, where I could just laugh at them being stupid and, you know, making a game for 7 years and then the game is a disaster. You know, like, someone's dead because of this. And I don't want to harp on it too much, but, you know, it really, when I read this really, like, at first I'm laughing like, ha ha ha, you know, WoW sucks, ha, look, we know why WoW sucks now, ha ha. This paragraph is a little somber. You know, it's a little bit of a bitter reminder. Like, this sounds like the plot of some shitty porno or like an American Pie movie. Like, this is real life. You know, this is someone's life. It was someone's life, unfortunately. And who even knows if this dude is fired? I don't know if he was fired for this. I don't know. But anyway, the agency seeks an injunction forcing compliance with workplace protections as well as unpaid wages, pay adjustments, back pay, and lost wages and benefits for female employees. We value diversity to strive and foster a workplace that offers inclusivity for everyone. There is no place in our company or industry or any industry for sexual misconduct or harassment of any kind, a spokesperson for Activision Blizzard said in a statement. We take every allegation seriously, investigate all claims, and in cases related to misconduct, action was taken to address the issue. Well, okay, let's continue. The Department of Fair Employment and Housing includes distorted. Oh, this is their continued kickback. It includes distorted and in many cases false descriptions of Blizzard's past. We've been extremely cooperative with the DFA. I'm just call it DFA. Throughout their investigation, including providing them with extensive data and ample documentation, but they refused to inform us of what issues they perceive. Yeah, basically Blizzard kind of wanted them to reach out to them before they filed this. They kind of wanted to, in my interpretation, settle this without it coming to public. And I mean, well, it's the company move, right? Like, I could sit here and I could say they're demons. Every company does this, right? I'm not gonna sit here and say that they're like the worst company in the world. If you think this is bad, wait till you see what some of the fucking banks do. The picture the DEFA paints is not the Blizzard workplace of today, the company said. Updated to include the comment. Yeah, I don't think that was there initially when I read it. Yeah, the cause of action, employment discrimination because of sex, retaliation, failure to prevent discrimination and harassment, unequal pay, and then they want, you know, relief, they want interest, attorney's fees back, costs, all sorts of shit. This, I don't know if it was this article specifically, but this was like the initial Rolling Stone about this. Like this is where they kicked the fucking hornet's nest. I mean, you could argue they were kicking the hornet's nest for years prior to this. You could argue that they were playing with fire for years, especially as the Me Too era ramped up. They were playing with real fire by letting this continue. And in one of these things somewhere, I don't know if I have it on here. I might have missed this article. What's his name? Knew. J. Allen Brack knew. And if you're in the present, you already know what happened with J. Allen Brack. But we're gonna get to that in a minute. So we're gonna do this. This is an Icy Veins. I actually come to Icy Veins because they have a lot of stuff for TBC Classic. Like, if I actually just show you real quick, they have a lot of good guides for classes and stuff. I actually really like this site. So I don't think this is more like a WoW and Blizzard news site, and they have Borderlands for some reason. But even they have a forum section which I didn't even know about until this. Like, I don't have a. I guess it's right here. I just never looked. Okay, you could say I'm blind. Whatever. Blizzard President J. Allen Brack sent an internal email to Blizzard employees addressing the allegations from this week's lawsuit. The president called them, quote, extremely troubling, unquote, and said he'd be, quote, meeting with many of you to answer questions and discuss how he can move forward, says Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. Here's a full transcript of the mail, courtesy of Jason Schreier. Once again, the Anthem dude. Hello, Blizzard. This is J. Allen Brack speaking. I personally have a lot of emotions coming out of yesterday, and I know you do too. The allegations and the hurt of the current and former employees are extremely troubling. I know many of you would like to receive more clarity. While I can't comment on the specifics of the case as it's an open investigation, what I can say is the behavior detailed in the allegations is completely unacceptable. Well, he doesn't say it's false. It goes without saying it is completely unacceptable for anyone in this company to face discrimination or harassment. It goes without saying that everyone should feel safe working here, whether we are on campus at BlizzCon or working from home. It goes without saying that it takes courage to come forward, and all claims brought to the company are investigated by internal and, when needed, external investigators. We take these claims seriously, claims made without fear of retaliation, and many times I attended them personally along with our other leaders. Well, apparently this wasn't true, because there was a known guy who was running around doing this shit and he didn't do anything about it. Stepping back, when I talked with Bobby Kotick about taking this job, one of the first things I mentioned was a revered saint of the Brack household, Gloria Steinem. Growing up, the value of women as equals, understanding the work that had been done for equal treatment, and the fact there was still much to do were common themes. This is one of the reasons why the fight for equality is incredibly important to me. People with different backgrounds, views, and experiences are essential for Blizzard, our teams, and our player community. I disdain bro culture, quote, bro culture, unquote, and I've spent my career fighting against it. Iterating on our culture with the same intensity that we bring to our games is imperative, and our values acting as our North Star. This is some of the most important work we do, both as professionals and as human beings. I mean, it's a company response. Like, I don't know what else he could say. A company is more than a legal construct that exists as a piece of paper in a filing cabinet in Delaware. The people that work at the company make it what it is through their actions and creations. Each of us plays a role in maintaining a place of safety for one another. It's also up to each of us to continue to craft the Blizzard we want and commit to doing our part in keeping Blizzard great, but always aspiring for more. The leadership team and I will be meeting with many of you to answer questions and discuss how we can move forward. In the meantime, I want to know that you could talk with any manager, any HR partner, any member of the legal team, or to anyone on the executive team, including Hey Jay. I don't know. Okay. If you feel more comfortable talking to someone outside of Blizzard or prefer to be anonymous, you can contact the Way to Play integrity line. I guess it was censored. It must have been like an actual number. I feel angry, sad, and a host of other emotions, but I also feel grateful to work alongside a set of leaders and thousands of employees who join me in their commitment to continuous improvement. J. Allen Brack. This is the official response from the Blizzard president. He's firmly committed to this. You know, he denounces all this. And not even 2 weeks after he did this, hang on. He was gone. He left. He fucking left. He left them. Oh my god, it's like fucking poetry in motion. Dude, he left. He saw how bad this shit show was gonna be. He fucking left. He fucking dipped. And yeah, they have a response here. Thank you, Nabillion. Like, dude, you can't even make this shit up. You can't even make this shit up, man. He's over here. Oh, I'm sorry that I even closed it. How do I, fuck, hold on. Let me go back. I should not be closing anything while I do a podcast. I'm sorry. This is the first time I've used, Firefox in this manner. So I do apologize. What was that title of the article? Companies have too much power? Yes, they do. You know, he writes this big response, right? You want to believe, like, yeah, it's probably a form letter response, right? But you want to believe that, like, yeah, he has to go by a certain response, but, like, he really means it, right? Like, this was posted, what? July 23rd. You know, probably, I don't know if it says the time or whatever. Whatever, right? Like, this is July 23rd. I should not have even closed the original article. I apologize again. Holy shit. Thank you. Oh, God, it might take a minute. Okay. You know, the original article came out the 21st, right? They had their comments. So this probably came out, like, late on the 23rd, like, or rather early on the 23rd and maybe past midnight, or maybe, like, late on the 22nd, you know, and it took time for it to leak, you know, its way to Jason Schreier or whatever, right? So, like, within a day, this dude is over here talking about how angry and sad he feels, how grateful he is to work alongside a set of leaders you know, all this other stuff. He's gonna meet with his leadership team, and legal team is gonna get involved, and a company means so much more, and it's a basic thing for professionals and human beings. He's like, yeah, fuck it, I'm looking at new opportunities, I'm out. My resume is not taking a hit because of you fuckers. So, effective immediately. So, basically, August 3rd, this dude, like how many days is that? Let me look. Yes, this was only 4 days ago. Holy shit. Wow, this has been a jam-packed week. I forgot this happened. This felt like it happened a few days ago. Hold on. So that was a Thursday. By Friday, he made that response. It had been leaked. So within, what is this? 8 business days, like 7 business days. So like 11 days later, he's already ditching the company. It's fucking insane. You can't even make this shit up. To all members of... fucking... God damn it. Why can't you people just be fucking normal, man? To all members of the Blizzard community, we want to let you know about an important leadership change at Blizzard Entertainment. Starting today, J. Allen Brack will be stepping down as leader of the studio, and Gene O'Neill and Mike Ibarra will co-lead Blizzard moving forward. Gene joined Blizzard in January as Executive Vice Producer of Development, where she's been providing senior development leadership and support to the Diablo and Overwatch franchises. Jen is the former head of Vicarious Visions, which is now part of Blizzard Entertainment. Yeah, God fucking help them. After many years at Xbox, Mike joined the company as the Executive Vice President and General Manager of Platform and Technology, where he's been overseeing the evolution of Battle.net and our development services organization. Jen and Mike have more than 3 decades of gaming industry experience between them. Moving forward, they will share responsibilities over game development and company operations. Both leaders are deeply committed to our employees and to the work ahead to ensure Blizzard is the safest, most welcoming workplace possible for women and people of any gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or background, to upholding and reinforcing our values and to rebuilding your trust. With their many years of industry experience and deep commitment to integrity and inclusivity, Jen and Mike will lead Blizzard with care, compassion, and dedication to excellence. You'll hear more from Jen and Mike soon. The following is a message from J. Allen Brack. Quote, I am confident that Jen O'Neill and Mike Ibarra will provide the leadership Blizzard needs to realize its full potential and will accelerate the pace of change. I anticipate they will do so with passion and enthusiasm, that they can be trusted to lead with the highest levels of integrity and commitment to the components of our culture that make Blizzard so special. Finally, thank you all for being a part of the Blizzard community. Oh, I'm sorry, unquote right there. Finally, thank you all for being a part of the Blizzard community and your passion and determination for the safety and equality for all. Wow. Just wow. Like, not even 11 days later, he fucking left. Like, yeah, he was really committed to the vision of making a better Blizzard. He was so committed. You know, this dude, he didn't wake up on the 3rd and say, I gotta get the fuck out of here. You know, this dude on the 23rd was already like, I gotta weigh and balance this shit. I gotta get the fuck out of here. You know, so his whole response, can I open this in a new tab? It'll just be easier. Let's see. Yeah, you know, his whole response right down here might as well say, so long, dumb fucks, I'm leaving. It might as well have just said that. You know, I hate to tell it. I don't know who needs to hear that. He didn't give a fuck. He left. And, you know, company things like this are bad. I hate to take a little bit of a segue, right? Somehow, this is going to come back on the gamers, is the real thing. Hold on 2 seconds. Because how many times throughout, like, the last 5 to 10 years is it that gamers are ists and obes? You know, gamers are this, gamers are that, right? Like, we're all horrible people, we're all racist, we're transphobes, or whatever. We specifically go out of our way to do that stuff. You know, all the times Call of Duty trash talk is terrible, and all these video games you like are awful and stuff. You know, you yourself are part of the problem. You know, how many articles have you seen, especially post Gamergate, where all of this shit just kept fucking going? You know, it just never stopped. It happens in other things too, other nerd adjacent culture as well. You know, how many times have you seen that, right? Like, how many times you're playing a game, someone writes some shitty article about, like, about the fans of something or the people that play a certain thing, right? Like, Blizzard themselves, we're gonna go on a fucking field trip. Hold on. This is gonna be really fucking tainted now. Yeah, like how many times has Blizzard, I had to go to images, right? How many times has Blizzard had something about, you know, like all this other shit? Like, I don't know how much of this is recent, probably like a lot of it, but like Blizzard has a lot of photos where they like show off how inclusive they are. And it's too late. I wish, this is one of those things, like when it happens, I need to document it. Because then when it, yeah, like they had this statue of fucking Thrall, I think, with something in front of it. I can't remember and I can't find it now. Like they have a statue of Thrall, I think. And it has like a thing under, like I can't find this stuff now. It sucks, because now I'm never going to be able to find it. Because it's going to be buried under so much of this stuff that I'll never find it again, right? Like they got all this stuff. You know, they have all this inclusivity, and we like to let people do this and do that, right? Like, and then you turn around, and they got this, and people knew about it, and no one did shit. In fact, hold on, really quickly. Let me see if I could do this really quickly. I can't even spell this fucker's name because it's such a fucking fruit salad of letters. See if I could find, oh god. Alright, you know what? Kotaku, you get your click. I didn't archive this, you get your click. How about that? Let's see. This is actually perfect. I didn't have this on the thing, so we're gonna go over this live. I've never done this before. J. Allen Brack tries to reassure staff, but some don't believe them. Yeah, look at the date on this. Yeah, some don't believe that. Oh, he's a former WoW director. Okay, good. That's excellent. Yeah, some don't believe him. Yeah, I could see why. I could see why. They probably knew he was probably gonna dip. You know, hey, look, he got the rainbow shirt and everything, right? Like, it's always the fuckers that promote this shit the most. And then you turn around and they got like the biggest shit imaginable. Like, I know I'm an asshole, right? Like, I know I'm a piece of shit, right? Especially when I was younger, I was really hot-headed. I'd said a lot of things to a lot of people I regret. Not on the job. When I was at my job, I was very good at that. When I had my internship, I was very, very good at handling things and, you know, being respectful. Because I enjoyed both of them, actually, so it worked out. But, you know, like, when I'm in my free time, I know I'm an asshole to people, right? I know I say a lot of things. I have a very broad sense of humor, right? So don't take this as me moral grandstanding, like, how dare they make jokes against women or whatever, or that. It's the fact that they do it on the clock when they could be making their product better, and they don't, right? Like, not that these jokes are necessarily okay or good, but you could be an asshole. Like I said, I got nothing wrong with people that want to be an asshole. Let's read this, I guess. The head of Blizzard Entertainment, the company behind Overwatch and World of Warcraft, sent an email to staff last night calling the recent allegations extremely troubling, quote, extremely troubling, unquote, and promised to meet with them to discuss, quote, how we can move forward. In the email, first reported by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, a copy of which was also viewed by Kotaku, Allen wrote, quote, I personally have a lot of emotions, I know you do too, we already read this, unquote. He went on to reconfirm the company's commitment to making sure employees feel safe. We just read that. The California Department of Fair Employment and Housing decided that Blizzard did, in fact, need external investigators 2 years ago, which the company said it has fully complied with, filing a complaint in court earlier this week after the investigation from 2 years ago revealed an alleged frat boy workplace culture which contributed to discrimination, harassment, rape, and in one case, suicide. Parent company Activision Blizzard denied most of the claims in a complaint in a statement, calling it a result of bad faith investigation by unaccountable state bureaucrats. Oh, yeah. Like, listen, I like making fun of California, but maybe you just fucked up a little too hard this time, my friends. In this email, Brack appeared to be caught by surprise by the widespread allegations, despite being named in the complaint himself as one of the top managers who failed to deal with sexual harassment even when he was aware of it. I'm going to keep going, and then I'll give my thoughts. Quote, J. Allen Brack, president of Blizzard Entertainment, allegedly had multiple conversations with Alex Afrasiabi, I can't pronounce this dude's name. It's a fucking hodgepodge. Former senior creative director of World of Warcraft. Jesus, man, come on. World of Warcraft about his drinking and that he had been, quote, too friendly, unquote, towards female employees at company events, but gave Afrasiabi a slap on the wrist, i.e. verbal counseling, in response to these events, unquote. Yeah, I couldn't find where I had the original thing that said this. I might not have put it in the podcast document, so I'm glad that this is here. It goes on to allege that Afrasiabi continued sexually harassing women even after Brack, literally the president of the company, reportedly spoke with him. Quote, I want J. Allen Brack to resign and the email didn't change that, unquote. Current Blizzard developer. Well, he did. I mean, he did. So you got what you wanted, but I don't really think he gave a fuck. I think he knew. I guess I could stop here for a minute. I think he knew. He knew. A lot of people knew, right? Like this is not some secret. You know, Blizzard, clearly California was at least somewhat investigating this 2 years ago. I didn't even know that. Brack knew. I don't know how much he knew, but he at least knew about this. And this is bad enough on its own, right? Like, this is a dude. He's a higher up, right? This is not a grunt, right? If it was a grunt, they would have fired him. And then that's the unfairness of the world, unfortunately. If this guy was a grunt, they would have gotten rid of him. Like, he was a character in WoW. He was a character, like a lot of the developers on WoW put themselves in the game as, like, certain characters and stuff. So, I don't know if I have this dude's, like, whole dossier. I don't know if I have this dude's whole dossier, okay? So, I mean, we could probably Google the changes that they made, right? How do I search Google? Yeah. We could probably... Oh, God. Let's go on Wowpedia. There's an image going around of all the stuff that they changed. I don't really care about his documentary. I was kind of... Yeah, they removed him from WoW. They removed everything about him off of World of Warcraft. There you go. Again, Kotaku, you get your clicks today. Yeah, so he's a Stormwind, like, I guess this is like a PvP vendor or something, or maybe he's just a character that exists. Like, he's all over the game. Like, here's another one of him, Wormrest Temple. I think that's a Lich King thing. I might be wrong. Yeah, so the thing about WoW is that people clown around in that game so much. I guess we'll read this in a minute. I don't know if I'm going to find the image of all the changes they made, because they flat out 1984'd this dude out of the game. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but it's fun. Like, the thing I don't like about it is that they never patch the game. This is more about the game itself. They never patch WoW when there's actually fucking problems. They only patch it when, like, something like this happens. They patch this shit in, like, a day. It was like 3 or 4 days later, gone. This man was erased from the game. But then they never patched the game for anything else. Yeah, I'm not gonna find it. It was like a long bundle image that I didn't save because I'm a piece of shit, and on my tabs, I lost all my tabs, so I'm sorry. He was in a lot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. What the fuck does this say? Move along, citizen. Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find it. There was like a whole bunch of shit that they removed about him. Yeah, okay. Anyway, to go back to what we were actually reading, yeah. To reassert his bona fides as someone who takes misogyny seriously, in his letter to staff last night, Brack made reference to writer and second-wave feminist icon Gloria Steinem. When I talked with Bobby Kotick about taking this job, one of the first things I mentioned was the revered saint of the Brack household, Gloria Steinem. Yeah, we already know. But some aren't buying it. Let's get to the new stuff. Personally, I was not satisfied by it, one Blizzard developer told Kotaku. Quote, I wanted to hear an explicit admission by leadership that we have a problem, followed by concrete steps to fix it. Instead, it felt like a bunch of empty words, unquote. Another one, quote, the part about Gloria Steinem was particularly confusing to me, unquote. They went on, quote, J. Allen Brack worked alongside Afrasiabi for years. It's hard to believe he wasn't aware of his behavior. Jab is in that video circulating of a 2010 BlizzCon panel where leaders of the World of Warcraft team were extremely patronizing and sexist to a woman asking a reasonable question. I want Jab to resign, and the email didn't change that. I'm not gonna watch it. That's probably a content ID waiting to happen. You could look it up on your own time. There's the title. I actually should put this in the podcast document if I remember to. The video the developer was talking about, which has started making the rounds online, shows a female fan at a 2010 World of Warcraft developer panel hosted by Brack Afrasiabi, I guess? Yeah. And others requesting a more varied female character designs. I love the fact that you have a lot of very quote, I love the fact that you have a lot of very strong female characters. However, I was wondering if we could have some that don't look like they just stepped out of a Victoria's Secret catalog, unquote, she says to roaring audience applause. Quote, which catalog would you like them to step out of, unquote, responds Afrasiabi. Brack nods and Brack laughs and nods and says, quote, I feel you, and we want to vary our female characters absolutely, so we'll pick different catalogs. Okay. Afrasiabi says afterwards. Okay. He smirks, the fan looks mortified, but the exchange continues. Brack, hey Alex, what catalog is that female Tauren, or that Tauren female coming out of? Afrasiabi says, not one you'd read. Brack says, sexy cow business. Oh, yeah. No, don't do that. Don't do that on stage. This honestly just looks really bad in retrospect, honestly. That looks just terrible in retrospect. But there's a lot of shit posting at WoW, so it's kind of part of the culture of the game. But that does not, like in the context of all this going on, it's a completely different light, in my opinion. That's a completely different set of things going on when you know what these guys were up to behind the scenes. I want you to know you can talk to any manager, any HR partner, any member of the legal team. Okay, I don't care. Other Activision Blizzard execs have also been in damage control mode. Activision President Rob Kotish, I'm never going to say people's names right, I apologize, called the allegations in the complaint deeply disturbing in a letter to staff yesterday as well. Polygon's Nicole Carpenter reports. He went on to write that the behaviors described are not reflective of our Activision company values. The Call of Duty maker merged with Blizzard in 2008 after acquired the latter from French media conglomerate Vivendi's game division. Activision, I remember when this happened, by the way. This was right around the time I was playing Burning Crusade. Side note, I remember when that happened. It was a big deal back then. Activision Blizzard's chief compliance officer, Frank... Oh, this is good. You're gonna like where this leads. Francis Townsend also weighed in an interview. Weighed in an interview, or in an email to staff, writing that she has felt like a valued and respected member of the staff since she joined Activision Blizzard earlier this year. Townsend, a torture apologist, was brought in on March following years of service in government, first at the Justice Department, I think during the Clinton years, and then later during George W. Bush's White House. Flat out called her a torture apologist. Jesus Christ. God damn. Yeah. We'll get back to her. Don't you worry. It's coming. We work at a company that truly values equality and fairness, she wrote. Rest assured that leadership is committed to continuing to maintain a safe, fair, inclusive safe, fair, inclusive workplace. We cannot let egregious actions of others in a truly meritless and irresponsible lawsuit. I'm sorry, what did you just say? It's on, like, how could you say this and then this follows after it? Like, she's a woman, by the way. Not saying just because she's a woman, she gotta understand, she gotta immediately side with the complainants, not saying that. But, really? It's truly meritless and irresponsible? I wonder what she thought when this dude fucking left. All the people below you, all the people you're claiming to represent, right? Like, you're an exec at the parent company. Basically, really, you say something like this, you're not even gonna maybe contend that maybe you like the least you could do is throw this fucker under the bus, right? Like, really? Damn. Yeah, I guess that makes sense what she did later. It's just completely, a truly meritless and irresponsible lawsuit. All right. That's an interesting double down. Let's see how it works out for her. Damage our culture of respect and equal opportunity for all employees. And then they did not immediately respond to our request for comment. I imagine the comment section must be God tier. Actually, can I see it? Since I'm on the live page, I can actually click into the comments. There's no way simply the man in charge of WoW did not know about any of this and was still be doing his job. Yeah, I don't believe this. I don't think that these dudes, all these higher ups and execs, I mean, especially when you take into account, was it in this article or was it in another one that I clicked in? Yeah, especially when you take into account this dude was aware that one of the higher ups, he's a former now because he left, or I don't know, he might have left this role in particular by that point. I don't know when he left the company specifically, but I know he's gone now. You know, especially when you know about this and you gave him, quote, a slap on the wrist, you know, and then it continued, you know, like, okay, I can understand, first time, maybe the dude went a little crazy. Bro, you can't do that. This is work. It's serious. You know, I don't know why they're drinking, I guess, you know, at a company party, okay, right? But you know, listen, you gotta chill, man. You got a problem. You can't do this. Okay, fine. One time, sure. Two times, it's like, well, what are you doing? My dude, what are you doing? He knew about it. There's no way that he could do it and still be doing his job. One thing that people are missing is that filing a suit is the last resort. The state will do everything it can to resolve issues before ever drafting a suit. Yeah. There's no way that this happened and they are just completely taken aback by it. There's no way. It's not possible. I often liken WoW to a sociopath's playground. So many easily avoidable designs and design decisions that were inexplicably repeated that openly and actively promote sociopathic behaviors among the player base. I mean, that's just how WoW is. I'll be honest with you. Like, this comment, like, when you play WoW, PvP is just inherently built into the game. And I'm not just talking about having PvP. I'm talking about, like, legit hardcore trolling and griefing. That's just built into the game. But yeah, I don't know if they were necessarily using it to abuse random players. I haven't seen evidence of them abusing random players other than... Fuck, hang on. I could actually pull this out because this was going to be a topic on this podcast. I guess now it is because I'm going to put it in now. But this, I guess, is the closest thing to abusing random players. It's not the first time that they did it. You know, they hot fixed the fight as this raid team was doing it. You know, it happens a lot. It's something that they do often. I don't know. I think it's kind of fucked up that you don't take the game down to do it, right? Like, these dudes are playing, developing a strategy, and then you change the strategy in the middle of them playing the fucking game with no warning. That's a little fucked up, in my opinion, right? Because then they could maybe waste hours trying to, you know, oh, it'll work again, right? Like, it worked the first 5 hours we did it. Why does it not work now? I think that's a little fucked up. Again, this is talking about the actual game. This has nothing to do with the allegations or the actual lawsuit. This is just something as you can see, this happened literally like 2 days before this whole shit show. You know, now, do I think that they did it to intentionally snipe Echo in particular? No, I just think Echo happened to be in the hot seat, unfortunately, when they were doing it. But no one cares anyway, because 9.1 is a fucking disaster. 9.1 is being touted by a lot of people I know, and especially people in my static first told me this, as the best patch that Final Fantasy XIV has ever gotten. Anyway, wrong article. There we go. I don't want to read too much of this. Yeah, I disdain bro culture, spent my entire career fighting about it. This email reads like it was written by a lawyer and leaked to Jason on purpose. Yeah, I can believe it. As soon as they start talking like this, you know they got zero defense. Yeah. It's just so believable and not at all bullshit to claim that when you interviewed for a position at the head of video game company with corporate parent, head of bigger video game company, one of the very first things you two discussed was Gloria Steinem. Yeah. I don't think that that's true at all. I think I think a lot of this is a lot of bullshit. Now, maybe they talked about it at some point in the future, but I don't think it was one of the first things. But we'll never know, right? I can't prove that. I just know that this dude knew this was happening. In all realisticness and in all reality, he knew realisticness, Jesus. And in all reality, he knew this was happening. He knew. And I guess he figured it just wasn't that big of a deal. And I don't know when the poor lady took her own life, but that probably was something that at least was a major catalyst towards this. I don't know. Yesterday, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing filed a lawsuit. Just how long ago was this passed? Okay, according to the complaint, Alex Afrasiabi, a creative director on World of Warcraft, was allegedly so notorious with his behavior that his office was nicknamed the Crosby Suite, ostensibly a misspelling of Cosby in reference to alleged rapist Bill Cosby. Now, bear in mind, at this time, Bill Cosby had not been charged and put in jail, to my knowledge. This has been going on that long that it was just kind of like a thing behind the scenes and under the rug or whatever. And then obviously later on that happened. It was ridiculous, and now he's a free man. So go figure. During a company event, he would hit on female employees, telling them he wanted to marry them, attempting to kiss them, and putting his arms around them. This was in plain view of other male employees, including supervisors, who had to intervene and pull him off female employees. This dude is a fucking horny dog, and nothing happened. Afrasiabi was known to engage in harassment of females. Was so known to engage in harassment of females that his suite was nicknamed the Crosby Suite after alleged rapist well, it's not Bill Crosby, but okay. Afrasiabi would also call females derogatory names at company events. His conduct was known to Blizzard executives who took no effective remedial measures. J. Allen Brack, president of Blizzard, former president of Blizzard Entertainment, allegedly had multiple conversations about his drinking, and that he had been too friendly towards female employees at company events, but gave him a slap on the wrist in response to those incidents. The picture of the Department of Fair Employment and Housing paints is not the Blizzard workplace of today. Was it the Blizzard workplace of a year ago? Like, yeah, exactly. He worked for Blizzard as recently as June 2020, when apparently he left the company with seemingly minimal mention, to the confusion of a few fans who noticed his departure. By contrast, when Jeff Kaplan, whose time at Blizzard had a similar length and trajectory, left the company, it publicly acknowledged his departure. I don't want to patsy Kaplan, but Kaplan was a pretty long time Blizzard employee. I think that, again, he probably knew something too. Now, he might have been more innocent. You know, I'm not trying to say that he was guilty. He might not have even been present. But, you know, it's like when you're at high school. It's like when you're at anything. You know, people talk, right? Like, humans are social creatures. People talk. They talk about what's going on. They talk about things. I think that Kaplan, there's like a really good chance he knew something was going on. Especially if this dude is doing it, you know, in plain view of not only other employees and, you know, female employees at that, but supervisors? You mean to tell me none of these three characters and the president and executives as well, so supervisors, executives, everybody under the fucking sun knew and Kaplan didn't know? This is a little weird, a little sus to me. You know, I don't believe that. But I'm not saying that he's guilty. I don't know what he knew. I don't know when he knew it. I think that's a good question, but I don't know if we'll ever get an answer to that. I just don't think that everyone else could see this. Everyone else fucking knew it, and one dude didn't. I don't know. But it makes sense now why these dudes, this guy's at the peak of Overwatch 2. You know, he's the face of Overwatch, right? Like, this dude has how many, like, Yuletide Overwatch shows or whatever, where he sits in front and he talks about Overwatch and his time at Blizzard and stuff, and then one day he just fucking leaves out of nowhere? It makes a lot of sense in context, doesn't it? It makes a lot more sense now that we see all this other shit that happened, right? Like, at least, you know, if they publicly talked about it, I'd like to think that he's innocent, right? And obviously there's no proof of any of this about Kaplan that I'm aware of, right? Just knowing about it doesn't even make him guilty in my book. I just think that people at the company knew, and it makes sense why he left the way he did. I mean, to a certain degree, this dude is a little bit more embroiled in it, and even he left. Like, even he knows, like, I don't want to go down with this fucking company. Fuck that. I got a career ahead of me. Though he's gone, his presence lingers in World of Warcraft. There are at least 2 NPCs that continue to bear his name. Yeah, they changed all this, by the way. They can be found in Stormrest and Wormrest. Is it really? Yeah, come on, my dude. It's right here. Wormrest. Like literally worm, like a dragon. In addition to the NPCs, there are a number of items named for him. Like, yeah, a bunch of other stuff. He's like an Alliance player, I guess, so I haven't really seen any of this. Yeah, I was right. Holy shit. Wrath of the Lich King. Yo, I was right. Holy shit. Yeah, because Wormrest Accord. I remember some of that. Since the news broke, fans of the World of Warcraft forums are advocating it be removed or renamed. It did get removed and renamed. Like, this is now a female character. I don't really remember, because I don't have the NPC. Or I don't have the list in front of me. The forum featured threads that called him a stain, while a player left a go away sign in front of one of his NPCs. This is fucking hilarious, honestly. Afrasiabi started in 2004 working as a quest designer on World of Warcraft. Among his main credits, he created the quest that spawned the notorious WoWmeme Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. He's also credited as creative director. Oh god, yeah, no wonder. I mean, the Warlords of Draenor fucking sucked. He also is credited as creative director for Battle for Azeroth and additional leadership for Shadowlands. Yeah, it's fucking over. It's fucking over, dude. They removed this. I mean, it's whatever at this point. So yeah, that's like about half of the shit show, mind you. It gets worse. It gets fucking worse. This goddamn company, man. Here you go. Welcome back to Icy Veins. According to Jeff Hamilton, senior system designer on Warcraft, there's almost no work being done on World of Warcraft right now. Due to the ongoing lawsuit, WoW development seems to have been temporarily impacted, which benefits nobody, not players, not the developers, or the shareholders, according to senior system designer Jeff Hamilton. We are not sure at this time if it will delay patch 9.2 or even 9.1.5, depending on what will be unveiled in the near future, likely at Gamescom. Let's go to Reddit. Unfortunately, I have to go here. Oh, it's gone. All right. Yeah, I'm 2 weeks late. Yeah, he removed his comment probably. They probably didn't like that he fucking said that. They didn't like it. I wonder if someone has a screenshot of it. Definitely someone's got a screenshot of it. Then they somehow end up talking about Final Fantasy XIV, which is extra fucking hilarious. Here we go. Activision's response to this is currently taking a group of world-class developers and making them so mad and traumatized they've rendered unable to keep making a great game. Well, great is in quotations. Okay, whatever. Anyway, yeah, apparently I don't know if they've resumed since, but because of the lawsuit, I mean, I'll be honest with you, they don't do fucking work on WoW anyway, really. The time from Shadowlands dropping, which was like late 2020, it was like like November or something of 2020. This came out like what? When was 9.1? I don't even want to look it up. It was like late June or early July. It was fairly recent. Dude, I mean, for this to hit right after as they're fucking starting work on the next thing, that's got to be fucking rough. That's got to be a killer move. Let's see something. It apparently gets so bad in this instance. Now we're kind of gonna move off of official things. Credit to this dude. July 30th, to give context to this, because I have this stupid Twitter banner down here. Oh no, it doesn't block it. Okay, perfect. An Activision IT worker pleaded guilty to mounting a camera under the sink in a manner to point at the toilet in 2018, court records show. Bro. Actually, can I find this Vice article? I'm giving everybody fucking clicks today. Secretly filmed. Look at it. It's a fucking Google result. Oh my god. These dudes are fucking idiots, dude. Are you kidding me? In 2018, a former Activision Blizzard IT worker installed cameras in the company. They have a Minnesota office. I didn't know that. With the intent to spy on employees while they use the toilet. The employee, Tony Ray Nixon, pleaded guilty to interference with privacy, a gross misdemeanor, was given a suspended prison sentence. He later allegedly violated his parole, requiring him to take the sex offender treatment as directed. Nixon worked for Activision Blizzard in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. According to court documents, police learned that Blizzard has a problem when a male employee showed up in the lobby of the police department on August 23rd, 2018 at 10:47 p.m. The employee, who was anonymous in the court record, stated he received an email from Human Resources that an unauthorized monitoring device had been installed in the unisex bathrooms and Activision was doing an internal investigation. It's unclear from the documents whether this employee was independently reporting a crime at work. However, and Activision said in a statement to Waypoint that it had notified the authorities. This probably isn't necessarily a part of the same thing. It's just like they have these problems. Yeah, here we go. Now it comes back up again in modern day times. They found this out again. So this is probably unrelated, especially since we're not even in the same state. But my God, like, I think that there's a lot more that Blizzard has that we don't know, that we have no fucking idea. What did I do? Oh, here we go. This is a good one. Yeah, it doesn't stop, by the way. Inside the developer's infamous Bill Cosby suite. Yes, these motherfuckers have a picture of Bill Cosby in their fucking thing. Now, at the time, as you can see, this is 2013, right? Without looking this up, I don't think Bill Cosby was charged until like 2016 or 2015, right? It was definitely before or after the Me Too moment in I don't know what year it started, 2016, I don't even remember, I'm sorry, it's been a long time, 2015. So this is definitely like a few years before it. Yeah. So this is a week ago, or a week later, sorry. What's the timestamp? Yeah, this is literally a week after. These are all, I think I screenshot this. It might, when you archive something, it might say like, this might be someone else's, but I know I definitely entered it into my podcast and I archived it because you never know, right? Since news broke last week of widespread allegations of sexual harassment and discrimination at Activision Blizzard via a legal complaint from the state of California, many top male developers there, both current and former, have responded with shock and dismay. But while many claim they weren't aware of the problematic, quote, frat boy culture, unquote, leading to accusations of sexual harassment and assault at the hands of male Blizzard employees, comments and images shared on social media paint a different picture. Based on photographs and screenshots of Facebook posts obtained by Kotaku, it's clear that people beyond Alex Afrasiabi, the man named in the lawsuit and a longtime World of Warcraft developer, were aware of the, quote, Cosby suite mentioned in the lawsuit. That was apparently a nickname for Afrasiabi's, I fucking hate his name, Afrasiabi's BlizzCon 2013 hotel room, seemingly a reference to the nickname of the previously convicted rapist Bill Cosby. Afrasiabi worked on World of Warcraft beginning in 2004, designed some of its biggest quests, and eventually became a creative director on the 2016 and 2018, 2016 Legion and 2018 Battle for Azeroth expansions. He is also the only person outside of J. Allen Brack outright named in the lawsuit, a fact that's made it easy for me to try and distance themselves from Afrasiabi's actions. During a company event, an annual convention called BlizzCon, he would, yeah, we already read this. He would hit on it. This was in plain view of other male employees. He's also known to engage in harassment of females. It was the Crosby suite after alleged Bill Cosby. Or, his name's not Bill Crosby. That must be a typo somewhere. Yeah, because, whatever. Okay. But the Cosby suite was more than just a nickname or a joke. Based on images and comments he posted on his Facebook, supplied to Kotaku by a former developer at Blizzard, someone was building a case. Somebody was definitely, they were loading bullets in the Magnum. They knew someday this would come out, and they would want to be the first ones to do it. I don't know who, but I don't think that they did this the night before. I think someone had a dossier on this man going back probably years, right? Because probably guaranteed he removed this by now. If this was on his pick, like, first of all, why would you do this? Like, I'd hope that you're all fans of the Cosby Show, right? Like, maybe these are just a bunch of dudes that are all fans of the Cosby Show, right? Still a weird picture to take, not gonna lie. But people, you could take a picture like this if you want. Fine. but we know what they were up to, and we know what it really means, and it's actually really, really, like, at least back then, you could say the man hasn't been charged, you know, it's just a rumor, or whatever, right? Like, you could at least say, well, he hasn't been convicted in a court of law, we just like the Cosby Show, and you can't say that anymore, it's gone. And we already know what was happening anyway, but, you know, like, that's just a weird picture to take anyway. Like, can I click into this? Oh, fuck. Shit. Day 0 preparations made. Cosby suite in effect. Man. Yeah, someone had a dossier on this man. It was reportedly a booze-filled meeting place where many, including Afrasiabi, would pose with actual portrait of Bill Cosby while smiling. It was also a hotspot for informal networking at BlizzCon, 3 sources told Kotaku, where people looking to make inroads at the company would go meet and hang out with some of its top designers. Yeah, a lot of these people probably had no fucking idea. This at best, and I don't even know if this is at best. A lot of this is just, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna take that example back. Just don't meet your heroes, right? Like, sometimes you just don't meet your heroes, like, at all. You just don't. Yeah, see, he did not respond to Kotaku by press time and has deleted most of his social media presence, but he can be clearly seen in a number of pictures surrounded by a variety of unidentified people sitting on a bed. The captions in these screenshots suggest the album hails from gatherings held for BlizzCon 2013 in a hotel room that was repeatedly referred to as the Cosby Suite. He named it himself. Cosby Suite in effect. Anaheim, California, I presume, right? Yeah. The captions and comments are both written by and refer to name of other Blizzard employees the pictures show. One ex-Blizzard source familiar with people presented in the pictures identified an HR representative as one of the Blizzard employees present in the room. Now, that's not an indication of guilt, but that might be, at worst case, a conflict of interest. Maybe. Just maybe. Another image from the same Facebook album shows a screenshot of a 2013 group... Oh, this is fucking god tier. This is fucking god tier. Called the BlizzCon Cosby Crew. In it, former Blizzard designer David Kosak writes, "I am gathering the hot chicks for the cause." Bro, if you gotta write this... Yeah, God, Lord. Here we go. This might be one of the funniest things I think I have ever seen someone write unironically. Like, even as a shit post, it's fucking hilarious. "Bring 'em," replies Afrasiabi. "You can't marry all of them," Alex Kosak writes. "I can. I'm Middle Eastern." And then Jesse McCree, and they fucking they annihilated this dude. Lead game designer at Blizzard then writes, "You misspelled fuck." Yeah, there you go. Right? Now, listen. A lot of people are going to say this is locker room talk, right? I think a lot of people are under the false assumption that locker room talk is something that only males do. It's not. Everyone does locker room talk. I could tell you right now. I don't know how much of a stick you have to have firmly lodged up your ass to do that, to say that that's not. But the problem that I have, and the fact of the matter, is that, like, you could shitpost like this, but not at a company, not with your coworkers, and definitely do not fucking assault them. I don't know if it was on here. Yeah, definitely do not fucking assault anybody, right? Like, I think that's the line. I don't think that that's a fairly unfair line to draw. Like, don't assault anybody, right? Don't do that. Like, your shitpost, it's already cringy, right? But it's not illegal to shitpost. What a disaster. Yeah, here's the actual screenshot. When I saw this, my head fucking exploded. Let me zoom in again. I'm sorry. Hold on. Mics were dropped. Like, why would you post this? Ever? Possibly the greatest group chat in the history of mankind. Yeah, alright. Well, much appreciated. I don't know. Why would you have a group chat titled BlizzCon Cosby Crew? You have like the reason they named it the Cosby Suite is not because they go there to watch the fucking Cosby Show. They named it the Cosby Suite because that's where they probably went to go and fuck women, fuck people who worked for them. Maybe even, I don't know, there could be fangirls. You know, like, why would you name it the Cosby Suite? You know, after a dude who was an alleged rapist. Why would you do that? I don't know. That's interesting. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, the conviction didn't come until 2018, but by 2013 there were multiple. I didn't know that by 2013. I thought it was like 2016. So that's news to me. This is news to me, honestly. Two of them declined to comment. Another two just did not respond immediately. I don't think they're ever going to respond. Okay, anyway. Corey Stockton, currently a lean game designer, and Greg Street, former Blizzard developer working on new MMO of Riot Games, were also present. The chat was bright as a series of screenshots depicting a wide array of Facebook posts by Afrasiabi, all under a 2013 photo album. The album contained a picture exclusively dedicated to the amount of alcohol procured in preparation for the cause. According to the... Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, it was the greatest group chat, not for the reasons you thought, though. None of the joke began. It was a play on the comedian's iconic ugly sweaters and didn't have any sexual connotation. Yeah, but even if this is true, right? Even if, like, if we want to trust this source, this is just one of those things that's not gonna translate. Like, even if I want to somehow give these shitbags the benefit of the doubt, it just coincidentally, this kind of doesn't end up working out. Like, this is gonna be looked back on by history as being because he had the allegations. Like, in devil's advocate, in fairness, Bill Cosby does wear a lot of fucking ugly sweaters. That was kind of like his deal. Like, if you ever watch the Cosby Show, he dresses the same way on like every episode. Like, I used to watch a lot of the Cosby Show when I was like 6 and 7, and we would go to Mexico. I would watch a lot of it because they only had Nicktoons. Some years they had Nicktoons, some years they had Cartoon Network. It varied, and I think one year they had both, which was nice. But I watched a lot of the Cosby Show back in the 90s. He was presented as a very important black role model, you know, a very wholesome African American black male, right? And, you know, my parents were very aware of that. And I mean, you know, now we know what we know. I mean, they said the same thing about R. Kelly. You know, he's an R&B singer. He's a very upstanding black male or whatever. Blah blah blah. Times change. It's kind of shit, honestly. Whatever. Let's see. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, even if this is true, and it probably is true, right? Like, I don't think anyone intentionally would name their suite after a rapist. Like, I wouldn't imagine that whatever company has a spill like this next is gonna have the Weinstein suite, right? But even if they were like fans of Weinstein, or like they liked his movies that he fucking like produced or whatever, I don't think it just would look bad regardless, even in the best case. So fuck that. That's kind of rough. One source said they were told it was a reference to an ugly boardroom back at Blizzard's main office, which reportedly had similar patterns to the sweater. Another said they understood to be a reference to an ugly hotel room, but all pictures, the walls were largely white and blank, and the decor was nondescript. The rug visible in some of the photographs does have a pattern, but it looks nothing like the sweater. So, who even knows, right? Take it for what you will. Maybe, yeah, as you can see, I don't know. Maybe it's another part of the room. Who knows? We'll never know unless they actually find the room, and even then, the room could be different now. Who knows? Another ex-Blizzard source pushed back on the claims it was a joke, and that when Blizzard moved to its Irvine, California, again, typo, in 2008, the office had been freshly painted, and to their knowledge, there was no infamous ugly boardroom. Moreover, regardless of the source of the joke, many of the captions and comments are sexual in nature. During discussions with Kotaku, the source who suggested the joke was an innocent play on an infamous room somewhere also insisted that despite this widespread apparent notoriety that was memorable enough to commemorate with a framed picture, they did not know the room belonged to Afrasiabi specifically. Two other former Blizzard developers told Kotaku that when they heard about the Cosby Suite through Whisper Networks, they clearly interpreted it as a reference to the allegations against me, which is the logical thing, right? Like, you would think that, you know, like you know, that's just logical, I feel. Yeah, that's just logical. If not, it's just fucking weird. Like, I don't want to be racist. I don't think a bunch of white guys like this are gonna, like, really like Bill Cosby for his show, which is what, to my knowledge, he's most known for is the Cosby Show. I'm not saying you can't be white and be a fan of the Cosby Show, but I don't think that they're gonna have a get together for that. And nothing I've read so far implies that. So you would kind of assume like this is completely reasonable. And this at best, or where is it? This at best is circumstantial. And apparently not everyone understood the reference, meaning it's kind of a bad reference. It's an inside joke that only a certain group of people get. Okay. Fucking Blizzard. How are we here right now? How are we actually here? Okay. In one image procured by Kotaku, a group of women are sitting on the bed in the room with the Cosby portrait. One of the women appears to have another on a hand on another's breast, which is cheered on by the men in the comments. The image is procured by Kotaku and two sources with knowledge of his alleged predatory behavior. Cosby's reputation was apparently the point of why the group of men gathered around his picture in the photos. It was such a boys' club that creating something like the Cosby suit was seen as funny. Only you could get an efficacy laid. What? An efficacy laid? Okay, and hashtag cause approved. Kosek was one of the few people who intervened in the past when another Blizzard developer was sexually harassing them. The Cosby, so, you know, enough but not enough. You know, I don't know. This is all a lot of sources. He said, she said. We won't know. I mean, it is what it is. You have to be willing to look at the ugly side of things in order to get better. The Cosby Suite and the BlizzCon Cosby crew chat also call into question recent statements by current and former high-ranking Blizzard developers. While Street recently apologized for a sexist panel in response to a World of Warcraft fan at BlizzCon 2010, he did not give any public indication that he was aware of or involved in something like the Cosby Suite, despite it being publicly mentioned in California's current lawsuit. Afrasiabi mysteriously left the company sometime last year without official announcement by Blizzard. Up until the filing of the lawsuit became public, many of his contributions to the game persisted, including multiple non-player characters and items that reference his name. After some fans demand references to him be removed, the World of Warcraft team said on Tuesday night that they would be pulled from the game. While they did not specify what exactly is going to be axed, the post mentioned the brave women who have come forward to share their stories. So, this is completely at odds with what Frances Townsend said. I forget what article it was in. It might have been this one somewhere in here. Yeah. Truly meritless and irresponsible. I don't know. You tell me. An employee brought these events to our attention in June 2020, said a spokesperson. We immediately conducted our own investigation, took corrective action. At the time of the report, we had already conducted a separate, internal investigations are fucking useless 90% of the time. Not to, I'm sorry, I should not have interrupted the quote, but usually internal investigations don't change anything, because as we know, if we go back to this, the literal president was aware, and he did nothing. So internal investigations are borderline useless, honestly. Question the Victoria's Secret catalog appearance of female characters. When news of the lawsuit first broke, Activision Blizzard issued a statement largely denying regulators' framing of the allegations as distorted, in many cases false descriptions of Blizzard's past, claiming the past claims of misconduct had already been addressed. That statement and recent comments by Brack and other Blizzard leaders have many current and former developers feeling like the company is at best in denial, or at worst intentionally seeking to obfuscate the truth and shirk responsibility for how people who work there are treated. Yeah, so they say like this stuff came to their attention in June 2020. I don't know how close that is to him leaving. November 11th, 2013. Like, clear. I'm not saying that this is like right on the eve of something, but clearly this shit was in the works for what? 7 years, almost 6.5 years. He did nothing. This was just a one-off, and then this was a one-off, and then I'm not scrolling up to that Cosby picture again, but that was a one-off. Like, clearly something happened between then and then. So I don't know when you caught it. If this was your catching it, y'all a bit behind the curve, honestly. A lot behind the curve, I would argue. As a result, over a quarter of Activision Blizzard's current staff, as well as many former employees, have signed an open letter. They also, they did the walkout. It happened. Kotick announced the company's previous statement had been tone deaf, pledged to make some changes to the company going forward, including investigating all managers currently at the company to see whether they ever impeded the integrity of processes for evaluating claims. You have to be willing to look at the ugly side of things in order to get better. Denials aren't going to help. Yeah. That happened. Let me see if I have this. Right? Speaking of Francis Townsend, our good friend who worked at the government. Defensive Activision Blizzard executive deletes her Twitter account. Fran Townsend pulled the plug following a furious reaction to a July 13th tweet criticizing whistleblowers. I wonder if the ex-government employee fucking hates whistleblowers. Am I really surprised? Do you really think I'm surprised? Activision Blizzard Chief Compliance Officer Francis Townsend, who earned the ire of Activision employees and fans with her defensive response to a lawsuit alleging widespread sexual harassment and a frat boy culture at the company, has deleted her Twitter account. She pulled the plug after retweeting last week an Atlantic article on the problem with whistleblowing, which sparked an immediate and furious backlash. Yeah, we already know most of this. She worked under Clinton and Bush. She was made assistant to the president for Homeland Security and Counterterrorism under Bush, becoming a key player in the war on terror, particularly with regard to intelligence gathering, summary the effectiveness. Okay, Fran deleting her Twitter over the Acti-Blizz situation, but not the literal war crime she previously defended, may be the biggest indicator of how strong this movement is. We are loud, we are angry, and we are just getting started. Daniel Peterson accused Townsend of making an already bad situation for Activision employees even worse for criticism of whistleblowers. You literally spent an hour directly hearing the gut-wrenching pain and anger of employees last week, and this is what you decide to amplify while vacationing in the Hamptons. Yeah, I mean, are you really surprised? Yeah, this is the tweet. Oh my god, this fucking ratio! Holy shit! Dude! Oh, she's still with the company. I mean, I'm not saying she needs to be fired. I think she is very tasteless, but I don't know. It's kind of dumb. It's really stupid. I don't know, man. This is, even if this was, I mean, it's kind of ironic. It's kind of bad when you're a former government person and still working at a corporation. It's kind of bad if you're ex-government and you got a problem with whistleblowers. I mean, people just don't like that in general, right? Like, I don't really need to explain that. I don't think I need to. And then you work at a company which literally is undergoing disaster levels of bullshit, right? Like, yeah, it's tone deaf. She doubled down? Oh, shit. Yeah, well, no wonder she got rid of it. Okay, that makes sense. It's bad. It's really bad. And she just dismissed the lawsuit. Like, this is not PR. I mean, I wouldn't say that anyone from the government is pretty good with PR, but that's 90% of the time because they don't have to be. And I'm not saying that because it's not a requirement. I'm saying that because they just generally don't give a fuck. You're not in the government anymore. I think that I mean, maybe she figured that out. That's interesting. It's very, very fucking interesting. Like she didn't think about that. And I'm not saying that like she didn't think about it because she's just ignorant. She didn't think about it, and she didn't give a fuck. That's the difference. You know, you hear someone, oh, I got in a car crash. You feel a little bad, right? Because they got in a car crash. They might not have their car. You know, ideally, if you're talking with them, they're probably fine, right? But it's like, okay, something bad happened to you, right? That's bad. I feel bad for you. These people don't, you know, it doesn't help the idea that, like, rich people have no empathy, right? They don't care about you. They don't give a shit. That's the fucking image you want to convey? The rich people don't give a fuck? Like that's what you really want to go with? Listen, man. I don't create these things into the universe, but they just kind of happen. It's really just fucked up. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's fucked up. Do I have anything else? Yeah, the employee mounted the camera. That might actually be everything. The actual lawsuit is out there somewhere. I don't think I have it. No, I don't think I have it here. Because I would want to read through it, but what I should do is I should read through it on my own. Actually, wait, hold on. Do I have it? Hold up. Is this it? What the fuck? There we go. Is this it? Yeah, here we go. There were a couple of things. I had some notes in a notepad that I was taking, and then I lost the notepad. I feel I hate it. Let's see. Yeah, they cited Gamergate. A lot of people were like, oh my god, wow. Let's see. The defendant's workforce is about only 20% women. Its top leadership is also exclusively white and male. The CEO and president roles are now and have always been held by white men. Very few women ever reach top roles in the company. The women who do reach higher roles earn less salary, incentive pay, and total compensation than their male peers. Let's see. Bobby Kotick. Oh, God. They got everybody on here. Like the executive ranks, women across the company are assigned to lower paid and lower opportunity levels. Female employees receive lower starting pay and earn less than male employees for substantially similar work. Defendants promote women more slowly and terminate them more quickly. Faced with such adverse terms and conditions of employment, women have been forced to leave the company. Defendants have also fostered a pervasive frat boy workplace. Yeah, this is where the titles came from. That continues to thrive. In the office, women are subjected to cube crawls. Okay, we already read most of this. Male employees proudly come into work hungover, play video games for long periods of time during work while delegating their responsibilities to the female employees, engage in banter about their sexual encounters, and joke openly about female bodies and rape. Unsurprisingly, defendants' frat boy culture is a breeding ground for harassment and discrimination against women. Female employees are subject to constant sexual harassment, including having to continually fend off unwanted sexual comments and advances by their male coworkers and supervisors, and being groped at the cube crawls and other company events. High-ranking executives and creators engaged in blatant sexual harassment without repercussions. In a particularly tragic example, a female employee committed suicide during a business trip with a male supervisor who had brought butt plugs and lubricant with him on the trip. Defendants continuously condone the quid pro quo and hostile work environment. The message is not lost on their employees. Let's see. Numerous complaints were made to defense, human resource personnel, and executives, including J. Allen Brack, but defendants failed to take effective remedial measures in response to these complaints. Employees were further discouraged from complaining as human resource personnel were known to be close to alleged harassers. I want to read that again. Employees were further discouraged from complaining as human resource personnel were known to be close to alleged harassers. Somewhere in here. I don't remember where it was. Oh, fuck me. Thank you. Not there. Yeah, here we go. One ex-Blizzard source familiar with the people presented in the pictures identified as an HR representative as one of the identified an HR representative as one of the Blizzard employees present in the hotel room. I don't know if it's this picture necessarily, but you see what I mean? They knew. People knew in this fucking shit, man. They all knew. They all fucking knew. So needless to say, how are you going to report to HR when the motherfucker that's supposed to be, the HR person is probably on some level involved with it to begin with, and definitely friends. I mean, I'm just using this picture as an example. I don't know if they're in this picture, but you get what I mean? Like, how are you supposed to report to HR if HR is in on it? Or either they're in on it, they're powerless, or they just look the other way and they just whatever. It's like, okay, it's happening. We can't really do much. It's the people above me. Like, what am I supposed to do? Fire the people above me or some shit like that? An internal investigation into the Human Resource Unit noted there was a big lack of trust and that HR not held in high regard. Well, shit. That's pretty bad, ain't it? Unsurprisingly, employees' complaints were treated in a perfunctory and dismissive manner and not kept confidential. As a result of these complaints, female employees were subjected to retaliation, including but not limited to being deprived of work on projects, unwillingly transferred to different units, and selected for layoffs. My biggest thing is I'm just surprised none of this happened sooner. I'm surprised that they just didn't all leave. I'm surprised that they didn't see what was happening to them and other people and just fucking leave. Be like, you know what, fuck this place, this piece of shit. Because that would have sent a very strong message, but... at least it came out one way or another, right? Let's see. Activision Blizzard, no, Delaware Corporation. Yeah, very funny, the Delaware thing. My notes are gone, so I'm kind of trying to scroll through what I remember. You're gonna have to apologize. It was like a 50-page. I'm sorry, it's a 29-page doc. I was like halfway through it. Oh, they tried to resolve this without litigation. Yeah, they ignored it. They didn't do anything. Probably. I'm not gonna find it. There's another part in here. Yeah, so basically they engaged in continue to perpetuate it. They didn't give them pay disparity, less stock and incentive pay. Women were steered to lower levels. They couldn't get higher. They had to work harder. Like they said, I forget where it was. They had to they were given more responsibilities while the dudes fucked around. Like, how is my dude? How can we just go back to that? How do these motherfuckers, right, show up at work, right? They get drunk. They play video games. Like okay, it's a gaming company. You're gonna dick around. It's not the most serious thing in the world. But you get drunk, which you shouldn't do. Period. On the clock. You play video games, presumably to the point that you can't do your actual job, do your actual coding, do your actual work. And then I don't really want to lose my place here, so I'm not going to scroll up. But then you heap it on to the women. The women are not being paid as much, which after all the shit that people go through about the gender pay gap being completely wrong and being proven false, now you actually got an example where it happened, right? So you stupid motherfuckers gave them a silver bullet. But then you heap it on to the women, right? You dump it all on the fucking women. And not all of it, but you dump more than they should be handling for their pay grade and position onto them. And then you sexually harass them on top of it? Like, are you my God, what is going on with you? Where did you drop your brain? Like, what the fuck are you doing? At least, like, why? Just, God, oh my God, it's mind-boggling, And like I said earlier, next time that something happens, they're gonna blame the gamers for it, and that's the unfair part. Is that, like, they're not gonna say, well, these gaming companies perpetuate this bullshit, right? Because you want to know what the gaming companies do? They do shit like this. I know it's cut off. They get all their fucking all their rainbow flags and all their pride things out, and they love it. They love showing off. Oh God, Blizzard diversity and inclusion. Oh man, oh they love it. They love showing it off. They love making Tracer gay. They love having all these female characters and everything. They love doing this stuff. They love it. It's so important to them, right? And then you come back and you it's always, oh, the gamers did this, the gamers did that. No, motherfuckers, you have the golden bullet here, and literally I'm also reading the lawsuit right now. Like, it's the fucking companies. Ubisoft has this same problem. As much as I love Ubisoft, they got the same fucking problem, and they have some of the worst ways of dealing with it too. Same fucking problem, right? It's the same shit here. Like, how are these people, like, are you not normal? Do you need help? Do you need some sort of, like, counseling? You need jail, some of you, but do you need fucking help? Like, how does this not, like, immediately trigger in your brain, damn, this is a really bad thing. I shouldn't rely on this. I shouldn't make it a regular thing, if you even got to do it once. Oh, my Lord. It's like just a bunch of dumb motherfuckers, man. I'm not trying to extend this, but, like, it's mind-boggling to me, now that I fucking actually deep dive this. Let's see. Yeah, this is like a listing of everything that we already know. Female employees at Activision Publishing are also fucked up. Okay, so it's not just Blizzard. Newly male promoted delegated his responsibilities to his now female subordinates in favor of playing Call of Duty. Bro, then you're not at work, homie. You're not at work. You know where you are? You might leave your home, but you're just playing Call of Duty at home. Blizzard doesn't even make Call of Duty. That's Activision. That's Treyarch. That's Infinity Ward. That's Sledgehammer. That's Raven. That's not Blizzard. Blizzard might put it on BattleNet, but that's only because Activision holds the balls on BattleNet. This has nothing to do with anything. You just wanted to play fucking COD. You ain't even playing a good Call of Duty, you dumb motherfucker. You ain't even playing a good COD, guaranteed. Let's see. Female and counting were no, the male were played, brah. fuck California, man, and fuck this. This is stupid. Female employees were also not promoted because they discriminate against pregnant female employees. A female employee working on one game team had assumed some of the responsibilities of a manager, but when she asked her male supervisor about being paid, fairly paid for the work she was actually doing and being promoted in that position, the manager commented that they could not risk promoting her as she might get Wow, and yeah, this is some Minority Report shit. She might get pregnant. She might like being a mom too much. In general, female employees were... Now, I almost can't believe he fucking answered like this. Like, I mean, it's in the lawsuit. That doesn't necessarily mean it's true. But let's assume for a moment that this clown actually answered like this. Like, bro, I don't even know. Took 2 years for an African-American employee to be made a permanent employee, while men hired after her were made permanent employees. She was also micromanaged such that her male coworkers known to be playing video games without any intervention by her supervisor, but her supervisor would call and check on her if she took a break to go on a walk. Another African-American employee who worked in the information technology was similarly micromanaged by her manager. Unlike the men on her team, when she requested time off of work, they made her write a one-page summary of how she would spend that time off when no one else had to do it. What? God damn, criticize body language. These experiences, dude, we haven't heard the end of this, right? Give it a year, let everyone get everything. They're gonna totally shoot this right back in the face of gamers instead of in the face of Activision. Activision is just gonna pay. They're gonna lose this probably. I don't think they're gonna settle out of court. I think they're gonna lose this, right? They're gonna pay these people what they owe them. But as a company, they don't care, and people are still going to buy Call of Duty. You know, people are still going to sub to World of Warcraft. Like nobody, like WoW is a game, if nothing else, of sunk cost fallacy. The people that play WoW are going to play WoW probably until the day they die. Like a bunch of them might leave for 14, but for the most part, they're going to play WoW till the day they die. Blizzard and Activision still going to be here at the end of the day, right? Like this clown might leave, but someone else will always take his position. It doesn't matter who. It could be anyone, right? Like, I don't know who replaced him. I don't know, whatever. They're like these dudes. These dudes could all be replaced. Someone else will want to work at Blizzard, right? So Activision and Blizzard are not going anywhere. But they're gonna fire this shit back on average Joes, guaranteed. I know it's coming. And I know that people might think that that's like, oh, it won't happen. How do you know? I've been around long enough. They will totally fire it on gamers as a blanket statement. I mean, it's totally coming. And we have nothing but Activision to thank. They can't be normal humans. They can't be trusted. You know, they can't be trusted at the workplace. You know, like not even on their free time. Like if these dudes fucking said some shit or whatever on their own time or whatever, you know, I'm not really a fan of pursuing people on other platforms outside of their clocked in hours. That's whatever, right? You wanna be a piece of shit on your own time? You can be a piece of shit. I don't mind that. I don't really even care. But it's the blatantness of it too. It's the blatantness. It's the, I guess they just figured they never get caught. You know, I guess they just figured their shit didn't stink, that they would just do it forever, and they would just get away with it forever. And just nobody would ever, like nothing was going to come from it at all. It blows my goddamn mind. It's like, are you just, how not self-aware are you? You know, with everything in media and everything all over the place, like, how not self-aware do you have to be? Oh. Terminated more. Yeah, they terminated them more easily. Like, why would you do this? Like, if someone says to you, right, hey, I need like a week off, however much time off she needed, why would you make her write a one-page essay? And then no one else, like, I don't know if it's like listen, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with that. Why would you do that? Like even, like, I could get it, right? Like, not every fucking racist and sexist is a mustachio-twirling white dude, you know, thinking about how he's gonna stomp all over the minorities, right? Like, I don't think that that's the fucking thing. But, like, why would you do that? Why would you ever care how someone spends their private time? What business is it of you, of yours? Why do you care? She, if it's time off that she's allowed to legally take, why would you care? Like, this is like such a fundamental, like, shitty human scenario. It's like, it's hard to believe these people get up in the morning, drive to work, and function. Right? Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's not even just like these people are racists or sexists, right? Like it's one thing, like, usually, it's like, oh, you could just say someone's sexist, move on. It's like, but why would you ever overextend your neck so you could get it chopped off? Why the fuck do you care what she does? Oh God, we haven't even gotten to the sexual harassment. What is this, the employment complaints? Yeah, this is the sex discrimination, the factual allegations. They have, what is this, 30? Yeah, so this is just saying that they're rolling forward with this. I'm not, by the way, not a lawyer, just reading this, right? Just reading this as a normie. They have what, like 10? How many fucking things? 41? Oh my God, they had like 14 points of discrimination, which is probably not like above average, but like, shit, man. Oh God, I have to take a drink in a minute here because I'm getting a little dry. Female employees almost universally motherfuckers, universally. It was akin to working in a frat house, which invariably involved male employees drinking and subjecting female employees to sexual harassment with no repercussion. Cube crawls were common, and male employees proudly came into work hungover. Similarly, male employees would play video games during work, engage in banter. Yeah, we already went over a lot of this. Not to, just in the interest of time, we've already read most of this. Here we go. Female employee noted that random male employees would approach her on defendant's work site and comment on her breasts. Female employees working for the World of Warcraft team noted that male employees and supervisors would hit on them, make derogatory comments about rape, and engage in otherwise demeaning behavior. This behavior was known to supervisors and indeed encouraged by them, including a male supervisor openly encouraging a male subordinate to buy a prostitute to cure his bad mood. In a blatant example of defendant's refusal to deal for harassment, yeah, they're gonna ride this dude into the fucking sunset, dude. During a company event, he would hit on female employees, telling them he planned to marry them. You can't marry all of them, Alex. I can. I'm Middle Eastern. So known to engage, it was nicknamed the Crosby Suite. Yeah, it's not Bill Crosby. God, I know this is the source of it, and they obviously just copy pasted it. But like, damn, it's like, how do you not know who Bill Cosby is in 2021? He had multiple conversations, as we talked about. Yeah, as a tragic example, they committed suicide. It's actually, like, this is the worst part of it. Male coworkers were alleged to be passing around a picture of the deceased vagina. The problems with harassment extended and to a minimum were known to those at the top. Defendant's former CTO was observed by employees groping inebriated female employees at company events, and was known for making hiring decisions based on female applicants' looks. An employee contained to Blizzard Entertainment, J. Allen Brackett, in 2019, that employees were leaving due to sexual harassment and sexism. Specifically, this employee noted that women on the BattleNet team were subjected to disparaging comments, and the environment was akin to working in a frat house, and women who were not huge gamers or core gamers and not into the party scene were excluded and treated as outsiders. Okay, that's nice. Female employees have raised further complaints to various human resource personnel about the discrimination they face, including but not limited to complaints about unfair pay and assignments, male coworkers belittling them or minimizing their contributions, and male counterparts being promoted quickly despite lack of seniority. Similarly, female employees also complained of the harassment they suffered, including that male coworkers groped them, that male supervisor asked them on dates, and of other unwanted harassment. Defendants failed to take reasonable action in response to these complaints. Such lack of effective remedial measures was not surprisingly given the defendant's own internal investigation of their human resources unit know that there was a big lack of trust in HR not held in high regard. Multiple employees also know that the complaints were not kept confidential. Oof, my God. Okay. Uh, retaliation for complaints they made regarding harassment and discrimination. They often experience retaliation, including involuntary transfers, selection for layoffs, and denial of project and other opportunities. Defendants' flawed policies and practices effectively allowed and continue to allow discrimination to occur within defendants' workplace. Employees have suffered and will continue to suffer harm from the, and that's the real key one. It's not just that this stopped. It's that it's still going. I mean, now I guarantee you now, everybody in this motherfucker is sober. Guaranteed. Everybody. They're not playing no video games at work. I mean, like, on the flip side, they might not even be working, right? According to this. But I guarantee you, everybody in there is sober as fuck. Like, they're sitting in a fucking ice cube bath. Yeah, this is basically, like, alleging what they did wrong. Second cause to action. I think that this is where I was kind of done at this point. Like, there wasn't really too much more for me to say. This is all, like, all the clauses that they're going to try to file it under. So, yeah. I mean, like, I don't know how we went from a company, like, I don't know how we got here. That's why this really took the internet by storm. It's only been about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks since these things came out, right? It's the 7th of August, right? This broke middle of the week before last. So it's been 18 days since this broke. I knew I wanted to wait some time. It's been about half a month. It's over half a month. I'm sorry. And I wanted to wait and make sure that, like, I got all the news, I got all the information and details. Not that I feel like I needed to really, seems fairly cut and dry, right? They know. Now I guess I could kind of go into my concluding remarks, because I'm probably not going to continue the podcast after this. They knew. Let's be honest here. They knew. And like with anything like this that's below the surface, you have to know it someday it's got to come back to bite you in the ass, right? Like, you have to know, especially when you have this many people who are witnesses to it. Like, they know what the fuck is going on, right? Like, they're not stupid. The women who are being harassed are not stupid, right? Like, it's crazy. It's unimaginable to think that a company, this revered among gamers, they put out so many clutch titles, amazing experiences. They operate one of the longest running online games in history. One of the most popular running games in history, right? A game that arguably most hardcore gamers have all played, at least tried or played or subbed to for some amount, myself included. And it's like, how did we get here, right? Like, it's crazy. But like I said, not once is StarCraft mentioned. Lord, I hope the StarCraft team is not involved in this. It seems mostly like it's the WoW team. I'm sure there's some bleed through on this. I'm sure that some people probably worked on multiple games. But it's just like on a base level, right? Like, at least when a dude steals something, I can at least say, well, the reason he stole it is because it's worth something, it's worth money, and he knew that he could probably get away with it, and he did, right? At least I could say that. On a normal day, I could say, like, well, he stole something because this, that, and the other. Like, some of the things that they're just accused of here, it's like, it doesn't even just go below common sense, right? It doesn't just defy the bare minimum I hold a lot of people to under common sense. It's also got to be like, what could you stand to gain from this? Like, and the biggest irony of it is that, I also said this before, is that, you got a bunch of dudes who, like, let's face it, back in the day when they grew up on games and stuff, they're nerds. They were 100% nerds. They were the typical, stereotypical nerds. 9 times out of 10, they probably were. So you know all the jocks did this in their fucking 80s high schools and shit, and all this other stuff. So why the fuck would you perpetuate it? Like why the fuck would you do the exact same thing that they did? And I mean, I guess it's just the power, it's just the ability for them to do it. They just unfortunately got a bunch of dudes all together who all kind of thought the same way. They're all cut from the same cloth. And it's super ironic, because this is like what they try to accuse like all normal, like, average people of, right? Like, they try to accuse them all of being exactly what Blizzard is, right? And so that's why I'm like, well, where's all the feminists? Where's all the people? Where's all the grifters and stuff? Because clearly a lot of these people knew, right? Like, we can't sit here and pretend like all these Blizzard higher ups, right? Like Kaplan and Brack and all these other people, they had to have known something. There's no way that they're just, especially since Kaplan was around since the beginning, probably associated with Afrasiabi, because he also worked on WoW in the beginning. There's just no fucking way that these people didn't know. And that doesn't mean that they're guilty. It just means that, like, clearly this has been a thing for a long fucking time. And a lot of people who maybe could have really done something and made a difference, maybe they could have saved that woman's life. Maybe if this had been whistleblown, like half a decade ago, maybe she would have never gotten that circumstance. She would still be alive today, right? Like, maybe that would be a real thing. Maybe she could have been saved. Maybe all these people could have not suffered for years in silence while the company is on the outside pretending like, oh, everything's great. We love inclusivity. We respect our women. We love our people, and then turn around and they got this running around behind the scenes, right? Like, how? Because you got to know that Brack and all these higher ups and even people like Kotick probably were really into this. Like, how are you going to sit here every single, what month is it? March? How are you going to sit here every February? You got your African-American employees, especially the African-American women, getting harassed. Every March, you got your women being harassed, and probably there's got to be some LGBTQIA people in there. They're being harassed too. They're like, how could you? And I mean, it's year round, by the way. But I'm just saying, every time the company does a company move, they change their flag to the rainbow or whatever. And this is why I never take any of this bullshit seriously. It's all a bunch of fucking pandering. Every time they poke their head out and they do all this stuff like, we love this, we love that, we stand with people of all color and all everything. No, you don't. I guarantee you, every company got skeletons like this in their closet, even the ones I like. But like, damn, is this a big one? And something like this is guaranteed going to happen in the future, right? Like, we got people at Riot, like, farting in people's faces and shit. It's like animal shit. Like, it's below kindergarten. I remember when I was in kindergarten, people didn't even act like this. It's like you're on the set of Jackass permanently, but also it's way worse. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to me that this is just like a norm. It's just something that they fucking did nonstop for years. And, like, people knew and did nothing. And even the people that were part of, like, the main problem, right? Not just the people enabling it, right? And who were, like, mandated reporters and needed to do something about it, right? Because as you saw, HR was considered a joke. They didn't take it seriously. They knew HR was a paper tiger, And then when they complained to HR, they knew that they would complain to HR. HR wouldn't do anything because a lot of HR, they say one dude. It's obviously got to be more. A lot of HR either couldn't do anything or were friends with these people. And then the reports aren't even confidential, which is a breach of confidentiality. So that way when they talk about something with them, then they get reported like the dude says, yeah, this fucking chick doesn't like that you did this. So then they get fucking hit with other penalties. You get punished for being mistreated. So then why the hell would you ever talk to them? Why would you ever go to HR? It boggles the mind. And they knew about this and they didn't do it. So as this story unfolds, I will continue to follow it. I don't think we're going to get as much of a burst like we got here. Who knows how long this could take? This could take years, honestly. We could be sitting here for years for something that happened in 2021. So we'll see what happens. The only other thing I forgot is that they have another lawsuit because of their shareholders are mad at them because of this. Kellogg's and I think like T-Mobile pulled out from Overwatch League or from COD League or whatever. So they're losing sponsors over this. Right? And they should, right? YouTube lost ads and shit for, in my opinion, far fucking less. Way far, I mean, nobody died, so yeah, for far less. And it's just fucking insanity to me. It really is. It's crazy to imagine that a lot of people did this, and I mean, like, maybe this is the only job they could get, right? Like, maybe they just had to stick it out. They couldn't really get a job anywhere else. Maybe this is just what they lucked out, or it's part of moving up in the world, or part of their resume and stuff, and then they just get treated like fucking trash, thrown to the side, not treated equally. Like, damn, dude, you don't have to like everyone you work with, right? I didn't like everyone I went to school with. You know, you don't have to like everyone you work with. You don't have to hate them, but you don't have to like or hate. Sometimes you just let them be. Like, what the fuck? Let them exist. Fuck's sake. Trash company. And now we know why. And now forever I'm going to say, well, this is why World of Warcraft has been sucking for years. Because probably throughout the development of all these expansions and all these things and all this everything, the reason why they can't patch anything, and the reason why they can't develop better systems, and the reason why they can't figure this out, and the reason why they can't do that, is probably because half of the dudes, but not going to say everyone is guilty, right? Obviously not. But all the higher ups, all the people you would go to for advice or support or for clarity and directions, you know, they're busy, maybe not every day, right? Like, but enough that it's a reoccurring problem. They're busy getting drunk, playing Call of Duty, you know, hitting on, and that in and of itself would be bad enough, right? Like, if they just got drunk, played COD, and sat to themselves, that'd be one thing, right? It would be like, okay, you know, imagine if the women did it, there would be a problem, right? But if it was just the dudes being that, it would be fine. But then it's also the sexual harassment is like, that's what really amplifies this to another level beyond just these dudes are getting drunk on company time and they're being pieces of shit. They're offloading work to the women. They're not paying them for doing more of the work. They're doing all this other shit. And it's insanity to me that this is just a regular occurrence. They just, I don't know. Listen, maybe, again, when you're in positions of power like that, you know, I mean, again, you might think it's a video game company, what position of power? But trust me, everything has some position of power, right? Like, any organization doesn't even have to be legal, right? Even friend groups have positions of power, right? Like, even unofficial group chats have, like, hierarchies of people on the in and hierarchies of people on the out. Right? So it's not just that you have to work at a company to get this, but you just see it really all the time in companies, because ideally at a company, you want to think it's mostly a meritocracy, right? Like, you want to ideally think, like, if I put in the work, and God bless one of my friends going through this right now, you want to think that you know, I put in all this work, I get rewarded for my work, either with a higher pay or an increase or something, a resume padding, stock options, you know, all that type of stuff, whatever they reward people with. You want to at least think that, like, yeah, I'm being rewarded and fairly compensated, you know, for coming in 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, and basically dumping my time in service of this fucking game or whatever they make, you know, game, keeping up BattleNet, whatever the fuck it is, you know. You want to know that, like, your time, you know, your fleeting life is being valued, right? Like, your fleeting existence on this planet that you could be spending doing something else, getting ahead somewhere else, doing anything, is valued to the point that, like, you are, you know, being fairly compensated for your time spent, and they're not. And that's what it is. They're not only are they not being fairly compensated, they're being harassed, they're being assaulted, they're being inappropriately touched, right? You know, these are dudes, they can't do the basic thing of keeping their fucking hands to themselves, right? Like, my God, what happened? How did this become a widespread, it's not like it was just this one dude at Afrasiabi, you know, running around doing it. My God, it's like a reoccurring thing. And my voice is going, I apologize, but yeah, I waited to do this deep dive because I knew as soon as it came out there were going to be multiple developments back to back. So I don't want anyone to think that, like, I'm giving Blizzard a free pass. Hang on, I got to move my desk a little bit. Okay. I don't want anyone to think that, like, I'm giving Blizzard a free pass, right? I don't want anyone to think that, like, I wasn't going to talk about it. I'll talk about anything, but what I do want to make sure I do is that I give myself enough time to review all the evidence, you know, whatever's been presented to me, especially when something this serious, you know, usually on the podcast, I don't usually bring up the web browser unless it's something really specific or not, you know. I want to make sure that I gave this one 110. Like, when I was reading out the Anthem stuff, and then I think there was one other thing I also read out. There's a couple articles I was supposed to read and never did. But, like, you know, it's one of those things. I wanted to make sure that, like, I was giving it everything that it deserved. I want to make sure that, you know, when I put out something like this, it's reasonably high quality for my shit content. Because it's serious shit. You know, it's something that I guarantee you, this is one of those things we're going to talk about for years. You know, in some form or another. We're going to talk about this for years. Everyone is going to know about this if they already don't somehow. You know, it's like, my God, how do we get here? You know, it's not just some silly shit like, oh, I don't know, BioWare was just a disorganized mess, right? Like, how did you make BioWare look like fucking chumps, right? Like, I thought the BioWare thing, which was also done by Jason Schreier, was stupendous. It was amazing. That was my favorite piece of work by him. Still is. You know, it just is. I think that he really dissected that. But, like, what did people know when? You know, Schreier also commented that he had known about some things going on at Blizzard internally for a while. I don't know what he knew, and I don't know when. That's really the common question for a lot of people. Like, what did people know? When did they know? And I mean, I guess I would say how much did they know, but, you know, that kind of goes under what did they know. It's like, what did people know and when, right? Like, how did we have to wait this long before something happened? I don't know. But let me know your thoughts. If there's ever a follow-up to this, I will definitely talk about it. Because, my God, it's a complete nightmare, man. Anyway. In any event, thank you. Like I said, we're going to get back to our normally scheduled topics next week, which will pretty much be the topics I already have up here. You didn't really miss much. This was pretty much the biggest gaming news of the month anyway, so it kind of works out. So yeah, take it easy, everyone. Have a good evening. You know, just have a good one. I'll see you on the next episode.